What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another Skyforge video. I'm Crazy Pickle, and today we're gonna look at the next class, which is Gunner. And as usual, we're gonna look at the abilities, symbols, weapons. Alright guys, let's get started. Full Auto. Aimed fire that inflicts X amount of damage to the enemy and increases the hit energy level by 15. Activates Companion's attack. The attack continues for as long as the button is held down. When the gun overheats, Full Auto continues to fire at the usual rate and may apply ignition to the target. Rapid Fire inflicts X amount of damage to the enemies in a large area in front of the gunner. Increases the hit energy level by 30. When overheating, Rapid Fire may inflict ignition to the affected enemies. Fire Blast deals X amount of damage to all enemies in a narrow line and increases the hit energy level by 75. When the effect ends, the enemy catch fire and takes X amount of damage over 3 seconds. Switching mode. Short Stroke will activate the Plasma Rifle mode. In this mode, offensive abilities are available that consumes the accumulated hit energy. Press and hold to activate the Missile Launcher mode. In this mode, powerful offensive attacks are available that consumes projectiles, and traumatic damage is reduced by 30%. Accelerated Heat Exchange. Plasma Rifle inflicts 50% more damage and does not consume heat energy. The effect lasts 10 seconds. The ability is available in PvE adventures only. Power Barrier creates a shield that absorbs damage equal to 40% of the gunner's maximum health for 8 seconds and protects them against control effects. Removing the shield will create a shockwave that knocks nearby enemies away, slowing them down for 2 seconds and dealing X amount of damage to them. Teleport Beacon sets up a beacon at the selected location. When used again, the character is teleported to the position of the beacon. Duration of the beacon is 12 seconds, but it will disappear sooner if the gunner is more than 60 yards away from it. If the gunner does not use the beacon, the cooldown is reduced to 6 seconds. Orbital Strike deals X amount of damage to all enemies in a selected area and stuns them. The gunner's attacks will deal 25% more damage to them for 10 seconds. Illumination inflicts fatal damage, increases the hit energy level by 90, and restores 6 projectiles. Available when the enemy has a small amount of health left. In Plasma Rifle mode, we have Pull Shot deals X amount of damage to the enemy. When there is not enough hit energy available, it deals X amount of damage. Deals 200% more damage to shields, activates Companion's attack. Plasma Stream Focused Beam deals X amount of damage to the selected enemy over 3 seconds. Deals 200% more damage to shields. Plasma Stream leaves a residual charge in your weapon that increases damage dealt by the next 3 pull shots by 160%. They will also reduce the cooldown of Orbital Strike by 5 seconds. Plasma Field creates a force field in a selected area. The enemies in the field have their movement speed reduced by 70%, become unable to use dash, and takes X amount of damage every second for 6 seconds. If pull shot is fired at the field, a chain reaction is triggered that inflicts X amount of damage to all enemies in the field. If there is not enough hit energy, it will inflict less damage. The chain reaction inflicts 200% more damage to shields. Missile Launcher mode. First ability, Missile Salvo. Launches a projectile at the selected enemy that inflicts X amount of damage. There is a 50% chance 2 rockets will be fired instead of 1. The chance is doubled for the targets affected by the mine ring. Each fired rocket increases the damage of the missile salvo by 9% for 3 seconds. The effect stacks up to 10 times. Activates Companion's attack. The attack continues for as long as the key is held down. Homing Guidance System launches projectiles at the enemies in front of the gunner over the distance of up to 40 yards. Each projectile inflicts X amount of damage to its target and reduces their movement speed by 50% for 1 second. One attack can launch up to 5 projectiles. Mine Ring places 3 charges around the enemy, which explodes in 3 seconds and inflicts X amount of damage. You deal 15% more damage to this enemy as long as they stay within the mine ring. The effect lasts 6 seconds longer if the enemy takes damage from the mine ring. The ability is available in PvE adventures only. For the PvP abilities, we only have a few different changes on certain abilities. so accelerated heat exchange will be replaced with the contusion shells. The machine gun causes the target to accumulate an effect that slows them down, and when the maximum amount is accumulated, they are stunned for 2.5 seconds. Activating the ability within the next 5 seconds makes them accumulate this effect much faster. When stun ends, the enemy becomes immune to the effect of this ability for the next 5 seconds. Next ability slightly changes. Fire Blast becomes Fire Sector. Flamethrower attack that inflicts damage in a wide cone with a range of up to 15 yards. Each hit inflicts X amount of damage and disorients for 3 seconds. Affected enemies catch fire and takes X amount of damage over 3 seconds. Increases the hit energy level by 90. In Plasma Rifle, every other ability stays the same, and the Missile Launcher, only the Mine Ring changes to Mine Barrage. The gunner places 5 mines with a trigger radius of 6 yards. When an enemy is detected, the mine explodes, inflicting X amount of damage and stunning them for 3 seconds. And in PvP, set for the talents, we only losing Fractal Shrapnel talent. And that's basically all for the PvP/PvE abilities. Moving on. Armor Plates Regeneration. If the gunner does not take damage for 8 seconds, they gain 1 armor plate that absorbs damage equal to 25% of the gunner's maximum health. The plate is restored instantly when using Teleport Beacon. Fractal Shrapnel. Projectiles launched by homing guidance system split at the end of the flight, inflicting X amount of damage to all enemies in a 6-yard radius of the primary target. Damage to the primary target is increased by 15%. Allurium 9 talent, Hydrogen Additive. Fire Blast and Fire Sector have a 50% chance to reset their cooldown and apply Hydrogen Additive to the gunner for 15 seconds. Hydrogen Additive makes the next Fire Blast and Fire Sector stronger, triples the damage of the abilities and the ignition effect applied by them, tripling the amount of heat energy gained and doubling the duration of Fire Sector's disorienting effect. So far, Gunner only has 3 weapons. First one is Main's the Substantial Argument, which is the mechanoid weapon. Mine Ring and the Mine Barrage will be replaced with Integral Pulse, which deals X amount of damage to the target and allows you to launch 3 missiles at once for some time. A missile launcher may recharge Integral Pulse. Integral Pulse cannot deal critical damage. Machine gun mode gives you a chance to recover an extra missile. Next weapon is the Kara Messenger of Death, which is the Reaper weapon. Plasma Stream is replaced with the Disintegration Ray, which deals increased damage to the first enemy in a selected direction. Pull Shot with Residual Charge reduces the remaining cooldown of the orbital strike by 10 seconds instead of 5. And the last weapon, which is the gold weapon, what we call it, Nemesis Triumph of Steel. After switching weapons, which is the stances, the gunner gains a 40% bonus to the critical chance for 5 seconds. While the bonus is active, you cannot switch to another weapon. If you ask me which weapon would be better for the gunner, I still think that the mechanoid weapon and the Reaper weapon are still 2 really good weapons. Of course, it's gonna be situational where you can use them, but I think also that mechanoid weapon is more of a unique weapon that you can use against single target as well as against multiple targets. Compared to the Reaper one, it's simply just single target. If you read the description, it says deal increased damage to the first enemy in a selected direction. So if you have only one target in front of you, all the increased damage will go to that target. Pretty simple, right? The gold weapon, I don't have it. I don't know if it's really worth it, if it's a really good weapon. It might work in PvP somehow, but I doubt, at least in my opinion. Still thinking that mechanoid weapon might be better weapon for the PvP as well. But if I'm wrong, please guys jump in the comment section down below and let me know. Because again, I don't PvP a lot. I don't PvP at all. So I don't usually test different weapons in PvP specifically. I'm kind of trying to guess in just by the description of the weapon and what it does. So I might be wrong, maybe the Reaper weapon would work as well. But again, I don't know too much about it. Again, I don't have the gold weapon as well. So if you have it and you tried it and you play a lot of PvP, comment down below, let us know. Alright, last part of this video, let's talk about Gunner real quick. Really great class in order of range. This is the only class that you can be 34 meters away to use your basic attack on the machine gun, plasma rifle, as well as the plasma stream on that mode, and the missile launcher you can use the basic attack and the right click as well at the 34 meters away from the target. Really good. I think it's definitely gonna help a lot, specifically maybe in PvP for that point, because if you're fighting against like fire starters, you have the longer range compared to that class. It also helps a lot during the team play when you can be that far away and still deal decent damage. The only problem with this, that just because all of the other classes has to be closer than that, even though the buffs from the classes has a certain range, I think you still should be fine if other classes would be like 25 meters away from the target, and of course you almost like 10 meters away from them. So it still should be fine, but I think it's not really necessary in the PvE option, because you only get range damage bonus from the weapon if you are 20 meters away at that point. So optimal range for all the range classes is usually 25, 28 meters away. That should be fine. But again, this is the only class who has the longest range. Not on all of the abilities. For example, the flamethrower, you has to be 29 meters away max. So that's one thing, kind of eliminates you to use that ability if you stand in 30 plus meters away. But in general, it's a really good class. Of course, it relies on the weapon to deal a decent damage and be valuable, as well as in PvP for sure. Like, you can still do regular content with the purple weapons, but if you want to step up, go through the content faster and deal really good damage, then this class is definitely relies on pay to win weapon. In PvP, this class for sure gonna need a weapon, because without a weapon, you're just not gonna deal much damage. I might be wrong. If I am wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. Cooldown on the abilities, I think pretty fair enough, so nothing really crazy. Ultimate has 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is pretty good, and it also gives you a little buff that you can deal extra 25% more damage for 10 seconds. The Mind Ring also gives you that increased damage by 15%. You can protect yourself with a shield. It's really good setup for this. Like Gunner, I think the Gunner probably the best skill setup compared to all other classes. Of course, every class is unique on their own way, but this class, it's just, you can do so much. Like, you can do, again, single target damage, simply just single target damage. The missile launcher gives you options, single target, AoE damage, you know, a little bit of stun here and there, like disorients enemies with the fire blast. It's a really good toolkit for this class. Again, blocking damage, even though if you have a weapon, it's still okay. It becomes okay class, playable for sure. As I keep saying that all of the default classes are required the weapon and they lack in damage. They're simply not scaled to the level where the game is right now. And that's a big problem at this point. In PvP, I don't want to even talk about it. The PvP in general, it's just a broken system. They need to freaking rework the whole freaking thing. But anyway, we're talking about Gunner right now. Would I recommend this class to new players or like slash mid players? I would say probably not. It would depend if you're in the middle of the game. It would depend on, again, your strength of your character and how well you reacting on what's happening around you. So because if you're gonna do some stuff solo as this class, you're not gonna have a range 20 plus meters away from the targets. It's never gonna happen. So you're always gonna be up close and enemies, and you're gonna lose that range damage bonus from the weapon. So you're only basically gonna rely on your power of your character, your gear, your stats, and of course the abilities itself. It's still playable, you can still do it, but again, there is other classes who will do way better job and they will run you through the content way faster than the Gunner. When you get closer to the end game, then yes, you can have fun with the Gunner for sure. It's a really good class. We use in the Gunner sometimes certain situations when we need it. And of course, also remember that we have the Invasion Atlas. So if the Gunner has certain node from the Invasion Atlas that gives some kind of a crazy damage boost or something like that, then definitely that would be really worth playing this class. But I think that would be all, guys. I don't think I can add anything else. If you have any other thoughts on the class, your opinions, please jump in the comment section down below and let us know. And as always, if you like this video, please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notification that you're not gonna miss new video I post or when I'm going live. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord server, all the links you can find in the description, and until the next time, take care.